Previously on my channel.
So when I saw the 5,000 calorie burn challenge, I said, well, I could do that.
I'm a bit down on my calories right now.
And I only ate 5,400 in food. So for dinner, I'm gonna grill up some chicken breast, and then I have some mashed potatoes. That's not nearly going to be enough to overcome my caloric deficit, which is right around 2,300 calories. So last week I attempted the 5,000 calorie burn challenge, and I was successful, and I burned over 5,000 calories. But I did not eat nearly enough as I should have, and I ended up with a huge caloric deficit, which made me think I really haven't had a proper cheat day in a while. According to Urban Dictionary, wow, that's a trusted source, a cheat meal is a meal that allows someone to eat things that are not a part of their prescribed diet. And as you saw last week, I just had my normal grilled chicken and mashed potatoes. So because of that, I want to make up for it this week. Tomorrow I plan on having a big cheat day with breakfast, lunch, and dinner all being cheat meals. So Urban Dictionary has its definition. I would say my definition of a cheat meal is something usually really high calorie or something I wouldn't have on a day-to-day basis. So my goal for tomorrow will be to eat as much good food that I don't usually have as possible and just enjoy myself. But even still, I don't want to go crazy with it, and I still got to have some responsibility. So while I'm having my big cheat day, I'm also going to run 26.2 miles. 26.2 miles being a marathon, but I'm not going to run a normal marathon. It's not marathon training season, so I want to take it easy, so I'm going to split it up into multiple runs throughout the day. Because my philosophy has always been, you got to burn it to earn it. So it's just after 5:30, and as usual, I'm the first one at the park. Surprisingly, the front gate was open today. Usually it's not open when I arrive. So I was trying to think what my strategy should be to get my mileage in today. So I think my strategy should be to try to get most of my miles in during my first run. That way, during the rest of the day, I could just split up the mileage real easy. So I'm thinking I'll probably run at least 10, if not 15. That way I have, 3 to 4 runs later that will be only 3 or 4 miles each. It is really dark, as always when I start. Usually the first couple miles will be completed in the dark, but after mile 3 or 4, it should start getting lighter out here. So, let's go. So it's just before 8 o'clock, and I ran for about 130 minutes. Honestly, it felt pretty good. I ran just about 16 and a half miles at right around a 7:53 pace. Right now, my half marathon pace is actually just under 7 minutes. So typically you run your easy long runs anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute per mile slower than your race pace. So I think I did a pretty decent job at keeping with that today. Honestly, I felt like I could do the full 26.2 right now, and if I didn't have work to do, I actually would have did that. It's actually kind of weird to run at the park for as long as I did, because the park is only 3.2 miles long, so about a 5K. So to get the distance that I ran, you have to do multiple laps. And it's weird because you'll lap multiple people will come and go while you're just still running. Yes, I did go to the bathroom. If I was in racing mode, I probably would have held it, or if I was training for a race, I probably would have held it, but it's just a practice easy run, so yeah, I went. Since all the races have been canceled this year, I'm actually not in training mode or marathon training mode, so I haven't really ran that far.
in a few months, actually. Typically, during the off season, my longest runs are 10 to 12 miles. So to do that and to feel as good as I did while doing it was actually pretty good. So I only had one Cliff Bar before I ran, so I'm really hungry. So it's time to get some breakfast. Typically, I'll limit the amount of times I eat fast food to once a week or never, but it is a special occasion, so I'm actually going to go to my favorite fast food restaurant, Wendy's. So a lot of people will comment on how I run the same park every single time, and doesn't that get tiring, especially with the amount of laps I do at the park? But to me, it really doesn't make a difference. I love running no matter where it is, and honestly, that park is only about 1 to 2 minutes away from where I live, so it's really convenient, and I don't waste time driving to another place when I could just spend that time running.
Thank you for choosing Wendy's. What can I get for you?
Yeah, can I get one maple bacon chicken croissant sandwich, breakfast baconator, and a honey butter chicken biscuit?
Anything else?
One of the oatmeal bars.
Sure. This can be $13.31 at the second window. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So I actually got 3 sandwiches: the breakfast baconator, the honey chicken biscuit, and the maple bacon chicken croissant. I also got an oatmeal bar. So I'm gonna ease into it and eat the oatmeal bar first. This is actually pretty good. It tastes exactly like an oatmeal raisin cookie. So it's really not breakfast, it's actually probably more of a dessert. So now I move on to the breakfast baconator. I'm excited because typically I won't even have the regular baconator, so to have one for breakfast, it's actually a pretty exciting thing. Honestly, I thought it was a burger, but it's actually a sausage patty. So much bacon. Overall, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. So second, I'm gonna eat the maple bacon chicken croissant. It looks really good. Seems to be covered in syrup, but that smells so good. That is really good. I love the maple flavor to it. It's a really good compliment. It's honestly a little refreshing to have something other than sausage. I've been making homemade breakfast sandwiches all week, and it's nice to have something different. So last is the honey chicken biscuit, which I've actually had already before, but it was so good I wanted to get it again. There's really nothing special about the chicken, it's actually just the biscuit that I enjoy. So honestly, I could have just got the biscuit, but I was hungry, so I needed a chicken. It's not dry like other biscuits. Honestly, if the biscuit was any worse, I'd give this like a 6 or 7 out of 10, but with the biscuit, it's easily a 9 out of 10. So overall, that meal was just over 2,000 calories, which I would call a cheap meal. But according to MyFitPal, I'm actually still in the green, which is good. That's exactly what all the running is for. But honestly, is it really a cheat meal if I run to counteract the calories? Other people will ask how I'm able to get up at 5:30 every day, even on a Saturday when I'll stay out late on Friday nights. And to me, it's not really a matter of choice. I set my alarm clock to 5:30, but I usually always wake up before it. And if I get up, say 5:10, I'll just get up. So it's just after 11:15, and I'm back at the park for my second run. Honestly, I'm happy I did the 16.5 this morning, because that leaves me with just a little under 10 miles to go to get the 26.2. So I could do 2 or 3 shorter runs, 3 or 4 miles each. My plan is actually to get anywhere between 5 and 6 right now, because that will leave me anywhere between 3 and 4 to do after lunch, and that's going to be real easy to do. Typically, when I do a split session, which is 2 runs in a day, I'll do 1 morning run and then 1 afternoon run. Typically, they're more than 6 hours apart. This is only a couple hours after I ran my first run, but I'm trying to get the 26.2 as quickly as I can. That way I could just sit back and relax the rest of the day. And typically, when I do a split session with 2 runs in a day, I'll do 1 easy longer run and then 1 more up-tempo shorter run. This one's probably not going to be any up-tempo. I'm probably going to run at the same easy pace, or maybe even slower than I was before, just because I haven't really rested that much since my first run. But we'll see how we do. So it's 11:45 and I just got done with run number 2. This is exactly why I run so early in the morning. It's hot. Plus there's a lot more people here. So I ended up running about 6.25 miles, and just as I thought, my pace was similar to this morning. I actually started out pretty sluggish, but then I sort of just settled into a comfortable pace. It's good that I got done with 6 miles now, because that brings my total for today to just over 22.5, which means I only got 3.5 to go, which will be an easy jog after lunch. Hi, I'd like to place an order for takeout.
What's your name?
John.
What can we get for you?
Can I just get the Soldier?
Alright, anything else?
That's it.
Alright, buddy, 13.90, give me about a half hour.
Okay, thank you. So the sandwich shop I ordered at is only 5 minutes away from the park I run at. And last time I made the mistake of ordering the food before I ran, because past experience, they told me, 45 minutes to an hour for my food. So I figured, I could get my run in before I order my food. Well, I called in my food and they said 25 minutes. And that made me rush my run last time, and I only got it a couple of miles the last time I tried to order food right before I ran. So I waited this time till after I ordered. So ironically, the place I ordered lunch from is called Big Shot Bob's House of Wings, and I got a hoagie, but this really is the best thing they have on their menu. So what I got is called the Soldier, and it's actually chicken tenders, gyro meat, bacon, and barbecue sauce. And if that doesn't scream cheap meal, I don't know what does. So overall, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. This thing is delicious. I mean, it's really messy, and just the amount of cheese and barbecue sauce that's on it just screams unhealthy. But I don't eat it that often, and that's exactly why I run. So with it just being a small, local owned sandwich shop, the calorie information isn't that readily available. But it's safe to assume it's about a 2,000 calorie sandwich, at least. But for the purposes of my fitness pal, I did add up everything separately. The gyro meat, the chicken fingers, the bacon, and I got a little under 2,000 calories actually, but I don't know how to estimate, so I'm just going to say it's probably around 2,000, yeah, no matter what I entered. But even with that, according to my fitness pal, I'm still surprisingly in the green for today. So even though I ate just above 4,000 calories, I still have outran what I ate and still have a pretty decent caloric deficit. So I only got 3.5 more miles to run to get the 26.2 for the day, and a lot of time to do it.
So I'm just going to sit back and relax for a couple hours and then jog it out mid to late afternoon.
So it's 2:09 and I'm at the park for my third and final run. Honestly, I was gonna wait a little longer before I did my final run, but also honestly, I just want to get it over with. And no, I haven't showered yet. I've been running all day, moving around all day, so honestly, what's the point? So I'm already at a little over 22.5 miles, so all I got is 3.5 more to go right now. Honestly, I don't care how fast I go, I just want to get it over with. So it's 2:45 and 26.2, done. So for my third and final run, I ran 3.63 miles. As I predicted, I was a bit slower than my first two runs, though not much slower. I got done in just under 29 minutes, and that's good enough for a 7:56 per mile pace. So my final total for today was 26.37. So I just reached my 26.2 marathon goal with a decimal to spare. It was honestly weird because I saw a woman there I saw this morning. She typically walks her dogs around 6 or 7 a.m. and she was there today in the afternoon too, walking her dogs. And she looked at me like, "What are you doing here?" It was almost like that Spider-Man meme where one Spider-Man is pointing at the other, like, "You." But honestly, I'm exhausted. I mean, I've ran the distance before, and it's weird how your body works, because if I would have just ran 26.2 straight, it probably would have been a lot easier. But if you start and stop, your legs don't know what's going on. And when you first start out, your second run, your legs just are extremely tired and extremely tight. But I'm glad I got all my miles in early, because now I got about 3 hours just to sit back and rest until my next meal. So my parents called me and asked me if I could cut their grass, to which I replied, "No, I'm tired." To which they replied, "Well, we gave birth to you and we raised you for 20 years.
So here I am. They also told me to stop filming everything, to which I replied with a resounding, "Okay."
Trying to be the GOAT. Every day I'm chasing ghosts like I'm Danny Phantom. And I can sell a nigga, but I'd rather sell a hit. It's my niche. And business at the beat, so I had to hit the switch. And now I'm all in, I ain't on the fence. All these rappers peep my game, I ain't talking Twitch. Man, I'm trying to get rich. I'm trying to make my wrist match the plaques. I started from the bottom, I ain't going back.
Well, now that that's over, I can do the one thing I've been waiting all day to do. So it's just after 10 o'clock, and clearly I'm exhausted. So after I cut their grass, my parents actually bought me dinner. And you'll never guess what we had. No, it wasn't actually my dog. We had the OG of cheat meals, pizza. We went to a local pizza joint and had two pizzas, a seafood pizza and a pepperoni, sausage, and mushroom pizza. Typically, I'll only eat 2 or 3 slices of pizza, but I actually ate 6.5. I would have had 7, but my dad wanted to cut the last piece in half. So, being it was a local joint, I had to estimate the calorie count again, and just based on some similar pizzas in MyFitnessPal, I ate about 1,700 calories during my final meal, which finally put me in the red for the day. But just to be safe, just in case my estimates are wrong, I do have some ice cream that I'm going to eat before bed, just to make sure that I'm over. So, I'd say overall my day was pretty good. I accomplished the 2 goals that I set out to do, which was 1, eat a bunch of food and make sure that I wasn't in a deficit this week, and 2, run 26.2 miles. So, my final totals for today were just over 5,800 calories consumed and almost 3,500 active calories. It's almost bedtime. I'm going to bed early as always, but for this time for a different reason other than getting up early like I usually do on Sundays or any other day of the week. I'm just really tired, and I'm actually excited because usually I'll wake up early and run on Sundays or do some sort of exercise on Sundays. I may go for a little bit of a walk just to get my daily step count in tomorrow, but tomorrow is actually going to be one of the first legitimate rest days that I take in a while. So I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to eat my ice cream, and while I do that, hit the like button and then hit the subscribe button. Peace. Oh, and I only got 47,000 steps today, so if anybody ever tells you that they walk 50,000 steps every day, they're lying.